Why am I reviewing 6 Desperate Ballads by The Garden? It doesn't seem like something I'd review, but if you've been paying attention to the channel since the beginning, you'll know I have a very close relationship with my now teenage daughter, and every once in a while she begs for me to review something. I mean, sometimes she'll sort of say like, "Dad, you should check this out. Dad, you should check this out," but then sometimes she really latches on and just says, "You've got to review this, you've got to review this." And I just got to tell you, if you are ever a parent, I'm going to give you the easiest cheat code ever to connecting to your kids. Take them seriously. If they like something, figure that thing out. Don't be like, "I don't know what this music is, it's trash, everything was better Wu-Tang Clan." Okay, don't do that. Just listen to the music. Same thing goes for video games. That's why I know how to play Minecraft. Because if you're in your 40s and you don't understand people in their teens or their 20s, you play Minecraft for like 2 hours, you'll understand them. So anyways, that's why I'm reviewing this, because she really loves this band, and I listened to the album, and I really love it too. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who wants to tag that whole story, is that if you take your kids' tastes seriously, then they take your tastes seriously. To wit, I'm going to a Morrissey concert tonight with that same daughter. So, this is a couple times, she's done this. Obviously, there's the whole series on My Chemical Romance and Panic at the Disco from when she was younger. I reviewed Lauve before Lauve blew up because of her love. She's been begging me to review someone called Sign Crush's Motorist. She's like, "Dad, I used to follow Sign Crush's Motorist when he only had 2,000 monthly listeners. Now he has 6 million. And so she's really insisting. And of course, the best, I would say, interaction with my daughter's music was when I even interviewed Carpet Garden, to the point where Carpet Garden sampled me in one of their songs. And then I sent them a message saying like, "Hey, that was cool." Like, I wasn't mad or anything. I wasn't like, give me money. I just wanted to say, "Hey, that's cool." And then they never responded. So I don't know. Life of an artist. So this whole time that she's been telling me like, "You got to review The Garden," I've been like, "Yeah, I already did. I already reviewed your Garden. I already reviewed your California band with the word garden in it that's rock and roll." But turns out it's a different band. Recently on a live premiere, like this one, well, you might be watching this later, but I basically premiere all my videos live at noon on either one day of the week. So I mentioned this, and tons of y'all said, "Oh, that would be awesome. That would be lit af, Professor Sky." So that kind of tipped me over the edge. The idea that actually I do have listeners. They're not like the smallest band in the world, and I'll check them out. And so what I thought would be fun is, instead of doing the research myself, I would ask my 16-year-old, give me their biography. So this is the biography of The Garden according to my 16-year-old daughter. Twin brothers from Orange County, California. Father was a drummer, but not a popular one. They were ostracized in Orange County because they dressed alternatively. No, wait, don't say that. I don't know if that's true. They make music and stuff. They started playing, I think in 2011 in house shows and basement shows and stuff. Fletcher plays drums and Wyatt plays bass and sings, but also I think Fletcher sings as well. Side note, says my daughter, I've started paying less attention to the biography of artists. Proud Poppy. Less biography, more art. Anyways. They had some kind of bad experience with a record company. You're supposed to say something like burgers are bad. I don't get that. Their girlfriends are both musicians, and they have a label called Vada Vada. And she pulled this out. She said, Vada Vada is like a small, scaled-down Orange County version of The Factory. Huh? Not too far from the tree did that apple fall. Apparently there's a whole Vada Vada verse, and Slater is in the Vada Vada verse. I'd never heard Slater until I listened to this album on YouTube Music, and it automatically selected Slater, and I thought it was quite great. My main question for her was, how did she discover this band? And she said it was through a YouTuber called Neopunk FM. And I've watched... My daughter is crazy for Neopunk FM. I feel like it's good. There's no part of me that dunks on it. It feels a little too young for me or something. Like when I watch their stuff, it's a little bit I don't quite connect to it, even though I recognize its excellence. My daughter also says that a lot of the Garden fans are douchey people. And then she caveats that by saying, maybe. I don't know. I've never met any in real life. This is according to Neopunk FM. Side note from Sky here, not from my daughter. Neopunk, I think, is the term that they use to describe the music that they make. So that's interesting. They modeled they're models as well. And this is the main thing. My daughter really wanted to put gesture makeup on me. She's watching the 2-year-old right now in the other room, and she begged me for me to wear gesture makeup, and I thought about it. And if you see my Chemical Romance video, I do sort of slowly turn into a killjoy, and that's fun, but I don't know. I don't want to roll up to a Morrissey concert in gesture makeup. And then the most interesting thing was when I asked her, what do you like about the band? And she said, music? I don't know. I was like, come on, you know. She's like, I couldn't tell you why I love Billie Eilish. I'm like, you're lying. Yes, you could. So then she spent a little bit of time and thought about it. And she said, quote, I like how different, and this is quoting, this is not written, this is, I'm typing while she's speaking. I like how different, like how they can make a variety of sounds, but are the same at the end of the day. How different it is, but how same it is. The drums are my favorite part. And I like how the lead singer isn't like the best singer, it's more real and raw. Really, it's about the drums and the voice, and I love it when they go fast. Perfect. That is the level of detail I was looking for. So, the drums are my introduction to this band. She's been teaching herself how to play drums. I try to teach her as well, and she's like, how do I do this? And she puts on a garden song, and I'm like, I don't know, 10,000 hours of practice, like that kind of playing, that kind of precision and speed, and that's not going to be a thing you figure out before you graduate high school. But my thoughts are, so I love the drums, I love the spirit, I love that it's brothers who are working together. I have 3 brothers, and they're sort of like lemon twigs for young people. You know what I mean? That same kind of wholesome family feeling, but a West Coast and Orange County version of lemon twigs. I don't know. And, there's actual musicianship. This is a great example of a band where if you want to just tell people, hey, shut up, and they talk about young people today only play video games, they play with the computers, and they go beep and the bop and the boop and the boop, right? And just, the couple of young, okay, not that young, they're 31, but still, music for young people. And the main thing, the best, absolutely best thing about this album is it's 13 minutes long. That's not a very long album. Sure, this review is probably going to be longer than the album itself. Professor Sky is gonna yap. But I listen to it on repeat and I never get tired of it. This is what I think my daughter was getting at when she said that there's so much in it. There's all these different sounds that they put in. This album is kind of part punk, part jungle, almost like horrorcore at points, almost like proggy Tool metal at points. It goes all over the place, and it never feels like a band that's trying to be and now we're going to play polka, and now we're going to play jazz. None of that. It doesn't feel like that. It all feels like a natural expression of these 2 dudes making music, but it has enough variety to it that you can listen to a 13-minute project 3 times in a row and get as much, if not more, out of it than one project that's 45 minutes. That is a spectacular feat. It truly is a spectacular feat, and I think it speaks to the greatness of the band. I am bitter, though, because yesterday, while I was preparing for the review, my daughter casually mentioned that they were doing an AMA on Reddit. And I went on Reddit, and I asked them a question. I'll tell you what question I asked them soon, and they didn't answer. Too good for Professor Sky, huh? But I do like that they mentioned in the AMA, I read through it, the thematics of the album. We've been digging ourselves out of a hole that we've been stuck in for the past few years, doing a lot of work to do so. That's why the metaphor is used. That's the main metaphor of the album. It's desperate. It is, and it's the desperate feeling of trying to get out of a hole. That's the main theme of the album. There's a lot of horror stuff in it. Is this a Halloween album? Did they just put ow sound in the background? I think they did. They do a lot of Mickey Mouse stuff with sounds. And they're very, very Orange County. I don't really know. So I haven't spent that much time in Orange County. I used to live in Santa Barbara. I used to live in Los Angeles. So I went to a weird graduate conference in Irvine once. Very weird. Because Derrida taught there, so all of the grad students were really influenced by Jacques Derrida, who's a very complicated person to follow, and so all of their all of their talks were just completely incomprehensible. Anyways, it is its own vibe. Orange County is its own vibe. It's weird, it's rich, but then there's also pockets of not rich amongst the rich. It's very California, but it also has like this feeling of emptiness. And I feel like the culture that can come from Orange County can be stronger because of its emptiness, because of that feeling that it isn't a place where you think good art should come from, that music can come from it. So let's get to it. Let's get to the album here. Let's talk about, if you like what you see, smash the like button, subscribe. AVAA stands awesome video as always. I will heart that. I used to heart that all the time, but now YouTube has changed where comments are on my like little app thingy, so I will still try. Maybe you can catch me. Maybe I won't get to heart it, but you can say that if you want to show appreciation and engagement. So the first track is called Filthy Rabbit Hole. We're digging, baby. That's where he is. That's where they are. Wyatt and Fletcher. Wyatt, man. Crushing guitars to start, announce the tone of the album, feedback and these rising sounds and great rumbling drums. A cartoon monkey laugh sound effect. And it breaks into this really cool thing where the left channel, I guess you were left, the left channel is like these clean guitars that are played just way too loud. And then the voice is mostly in the right. And then these drums are really clipped. And it's great because it's punk, it is. It's got that punk energy. But it's like neither hardcore, nor is it like Orange County pop punk, Went to the mall and Orange Julius was closed. Orange Julius was closed. Orange Julius was closed. Right? None of that stuff. I'm sorry. I just wrote a great pop punk song on my porch. But what am I supposed to do? I just wrote the song Orange Julius is Closed. Any of you musicians out there want to turn that into a song? Have at it. I love Orange Julius. But what I love about this, I'm like, this is what happens when you listen to the album. I don't know, I've listened to it like 40 times or something in the past 2 days because it's so short. Like, you notice this little lead guitar melody that kind of pulls you through. These little tiny things that over this kind of aggressive, punky feeling, these little lead lines pull you through. And then they say the word shotgun, and there's an actual shotgun blast. And it's actual polished punk music. It's great. And these lyrics, I'm blacked out. A weirdly robotic drum fill here. I don't know, like, how much robots are playing drums here. I can't tell. I'm blacked out, down the rabbit hole, through the dust and dirt, take me back home. It's this whole theme, just in the hole. The whole album should be called 6 Desperate Ballads from a Hole. Next song's called The Nightmare. Okay. What happened? This is what I'm talking about. This is totally different. A totally different soundscape. We have a drum machine playing jungle-like, super fast drum beat. Reminds me of, like, I don't know, loading screen on a PlayStation game, or actually... Actually, the drums remind me of Mario 64 in the beginning. When you like grab Mario's nose and stuff and mess them all around. Kind of sounds like that. We got the wolf howl in here. We got some ominous sounds. Cool kind of drum machine thing here. And he's sort of speaking, not really trying to rap, but it's kind of like not really singing either. And there's this nice little break with this little tinny drum machine. It's just making noise. There's so much variance in this very short album. You can hate something great, you can love a nightmare, a suicide mission, the tallest oak, a kick in the head, a hand to the throat. You can bet your bottom dollar that it won't stop now. Never-ending nightmare, never-ending doubt. It's very emo. The lyrics. So, while I think about like the taste of my daughter as it's developed over the years, right? Because when you pay attention, that's the thing you get to see. This does make sense as a sort of logical outcropping of the perhaps overly choreographed, overly produced, overly polished emo feel of, you know, that generation of Panic at the Disco or My Chemical Romance, that like as you would get older you would want to find something a little bit more raw, a little bit more real, but still touches on a lot of those same emotions, a lot of those same kind of thematics of, you know, a suicide mission, kick in the head, right? So it makes sense. It makes sense that this is where you would go. If you started there, you would end up there. I hope the wind isn't too bad on the microphone. I can't do anything. It's fall. Next song is called Man of the People. Clean guitar with a slight guitarist on it. Guitarist? Guitarist. It's the most pleasurable part of the guitar. Slight chorus on the guitar, too, kind of ratty back and forth with this bass, these two notes, all these swirling layers. I get a really distinct feeling from this album at times, and this is my PSA. Dead Milkman. It gives me a real Dead Milkman feel. This is one of my favorite albums growing up, one of my favorite punk albums. Basically, back in the 80s and 90s, you had to figure out what kind of Dead punk fan you were. Were you a Dead Kennedys guy or a Dead Milkman guy? Now, I had both, but you always have to pick. I preferred the kind of lighter comedy, like the more cynical, a little bit less earnest, funnier stuff, you know, of the Dead Milkmen. So, if you never heard Dead Lizard in My Backyard and you like The Garden, listen to Big Lizard in My Backyard. Content warning. there's a lot of politically not correct stuff in there. But anyways, so that kind of makes me feel in that way. When I was dating, before I met my now wife, there was a woman who put in her profile that she was a Dead Milkman fanatic and went to like 50 Dead Milkman shows. And I don't even remember what she looked like or anything, but I remember being like, wow, I need to contact this person. And I wrote this kind of like interesting message about Dead Milkman, and she never responded. So what are you going to do? You know, like, love is strange. The one that thankfully got away. I'm not sure I'd want to date somebody who's really into Dead Milkman. I mean, it's cool to like it, but like 50 shows? Anyways. Catching Strays, random OkCupid person I messaged 13 years ago. I love the hard drum fills here, and I like these lyrics. I'm not a man of the people. I'll never be a man of the people. I think that's interesting. That it's I'll never be a man of the people. Maybe this is intentional in indicating that he feels like he'll never be a man. And then on top of that, never be a man of the people. I don't like the feeling, the weight of it all. It feels like maybe it's discomfort with fame. I thought maybe it was like a political thing. Because interestingly, even though California is very liberal, Orange County is very conservative, so I thought maybe that's what this is. No, not really. But I really like this song. I love the guitar line. It's kind of a struggling guitar line, but I really enjoy it. Killer drum fills. Then we get to the next song, Hellhole. And this is the song that I asked you, The Garden. I said, is this a Spinal Tap reference? Listen, Spinal Tap, I just discovered, is streaming on Pluto. Spinal Tap is a Professor Sky top 3 movie of all time. Okay? It is often number 1. It is often my favorite movie ever made. If you've not seen Spinal Tap, give yourself the time to watch it. If you think, I don't actually think it's that funny, watch it again. And there's a song in there called Hellhole. And so I don't think that's what this is. So I asked them that and they didn't respond. I'm not bitter about it, though. It's not like I'm going to give them a bad review. Not good, 0 out of 10. Didn't respond to my Ask Me Anything. Ignore me everything. A demon appears again tonight. Was this a Halloween album? I love these detuned guitar bass lines again. That's that kind of that Tool feel, ostentatious drums and opening and ricochet sounds. And okay, I don't. The sound of coughing makes me stressed. Okay, I'm asthmatic. My son is asthmatic. Like, hearing people cough makes me uncomfortable. And there's so much coughing and monkey noises. I don't get what that is. I don't know if this is some kind of like outbreak situation, some kind of monkeypox that we're having here. But anyways, I love these warble guitars. I like how they seem to be having fun, stumble around, wasteland, graceland. Can't tell the difference when you finally hear the birds chirp. Hear the birds chirp? I can finally hear the birds chirp way back. It really makes a difference. And the idea of a hellhole, again, the whole thematics of the album is very consistent. It's very clear. It's this hole. And I love the punky fast bit at the end, the full hardcore outro. And I don't know, at a certain point I feel like I hear the first two notes of Where's My Mind by the Pixies at times, but maybe that's just me. Next song is called Open Hearted. This is what I'm talking about, okay? So I'm talking about this crazy band. This heavy piano with this heavy reverb. It's awesome. It's a very cool sound. It sounds really nice. It's kind of dreamy, and then these drums blast in, but the pianos keep playing. They're doing so much in such little period of time. It breaks out the sweet little bridge guitar and piano. The vocals are a little bit less legible in here. Digging myself deeper into this pit. I know I'm your keeper. I've always known. Again, more and more whole stuff. And finally, we get to the last song, Ballet, another jungle song. So ties into the second track, although I think it's the actual Amen break by the Winstons that's used as the basics of jungle music here. All these, then it becomes kind of like a Boots and Cats kind of like house style, but also still punk. I pledge allegiance to anything I feel. I talk all the time about the allegiance thing. It's wild that we live in a country with a Pledge of Allegiance. It's not okay. The Pledge of Allegiance is not okay because it uses the words under God. Like church and state are supposed to be separated. That's part of the whole democracy thing. Church and state we're not a theocracy. So the fact that we ask every single child, and don't tell me you don't have to say it. You're still asked to say it. You're still taught to say it. I had to say it when I was a kid. Pledge allegiance under God. Anyways. But, more laughing sounds, kind of a grimy jam. And then these lyrics are just straight up My Chemical Romance. Like, come on. Come on. Julie. These are My Chemical Romance lyrics. I'm still in line at the Decay Buffet. Doomsday Parade? I can be a bastard if you play it that way. I pledge allegiance to the Gray Ballet. Declaration, apparition, see through an x-ray, roll with the punch or limp away. This Gray Ballet, Black Parade. This gotta be. Anyways, but I love it. Frankly, I enjoy listening to this more than I enjoy listening to My Chemical Romance. So there's my review. There is my review of this band, The Garden. Now my daughter will probably move on to begging me to review Sign Crush's Motorist. I do feel bad because she wanted to go see The Garden in concert in Buffalo, but I hadn't really. It just didn't work out for her. Anyways, at least she'll get to see Morrissey, which might be good. We'll see. I'll probably do a video on the Morrissey concert too. All right, these are my Patreons. They help me to buy music. I'll probably buy this album for my daughter when it comes out. All right. Well, until next time, there's the camera.